Hey guys, Banana Lock here. Welcome back to another Virtual Realms video. So we're back with the patch notes for August. It looks like we're getting 2 patches this month, which is what we figured out as well from this particular patch notes as well, where they said that they'll be doing some upgrades. There was some dates here, yeah, the 25th August. So I think we mentioned a while ago that, with that in mind, we could see an update coming in again, and we are getting it next week. So as usual, 300 diamonds, and the big thing this time around is that gear dungeon will no longer consume stamina. And the good thing is that even though you've used stamina, they will still compensate you for that. So that's great. And we also have a lot of optimizations, QOL improvements, and we'll run through all of that. So on the heroes first, the Lula getting another buff yet again after getting her exclusive gear and artifact. So after the optimization, she is going to prioritize characters with lower HP. I'm not sure what the previous prioritization was. It could be that it focuses on units with debuffs to dispel them, but either ways, I think she is still going to be pretty crappy because she doesn't heal that much. And then Tiao-chan, another fix. I didn't see this happening beforehand, but after the last fix, what happens is that sometimes Tiao-chan will switch into healing mode in arena all of a sudden. And that's like without any units in range to heal, she will just swap and then swap back immediately. So I'm hoping this fix is in regards to that. And then we have this update to Ingrid's Lord spell. So it's just to better match the actual skill effect, and it seems like this extra damage effect thing right over here. So you can see before, within 3 seconds after the Lord deals direct damage to an enemy, faction team members do an extra 20% damage to the enemy. Right now, after the change, it will be after the faction member, after the Lord deals direct damage to an enemy, faction member deals an extra 20% damage to the enemy within 3 seconds. So now they specified the timing, and it can only affect one enemy per Lord attack. So I think it makes it very specific, but I don't think it changes anything. I think it's just a description change. So I don't think Ingrid's Lord skill is getting buffed or nerfed in this case. Alright, and then we have some fixes with links. No one cares about this unit. And then Nerissa, this is a pretty big one. So we were questioning at first, right? What's an inspiration unit getting penetration for? And lo and behold, they updated it. Nerissa now gets extra attack instead, which is great for an inspiration unit, definitely. And then we have the big one now. Elddr buff. So we thought this would only come in September, but looks like it's coming right away. And the gist of this buff is that Elddr is now a AoE damage dealer. He attacks 2 tiles ahead. He has slower attack speed interval, but the deployment cost and all that stays the same. So you can see here, the physical attack deals damage to 5 enemies instead. And then talent, yeah, that's still the same. And then you can see the ultimate gets attack increase instead of HP increase, so that has been removed. And yeah, and I think the other thing was also this bit. If the hero has no shield, triggering Thunder Hammer has a 40% chance to gain a shield equal to 50% of attack for 10 seconds. This is pretty huge. And then this one is the same. And then the A1 is also updated, where if he casts his ultimate, allied heroes within the range also get that damage increase, but only at 50% of the values. And then Thunder Hammer trigger chance from 40%, from 20% to 60%, which is pretty high. And then Thunder Hammer deals extra damage equals to 30% of current shield strength. Alright. So it's a nice rework, but a couple of questions. Is he going to be useful anywhere? Because at the end of the day, he is still only 2 tile, and not sure if the Thunder Hammer skill actually does the extra the AoE damage or not. Because if it's still single target, it makes no sense, and it's still gonna remain pretty awful because then his AoE hits are just tied to his basic attack. But a lot of new multipliers here, so we can be hopeful, but not too hopeful. So let's see after the patch whether he's actually any good. And then we have some buffs to Ares. Actually, before we move on, if you watch the dev interviews, they've also said that Elddr is going to get exclusive gear, so that's exclusive artifact. So maybe he'll be better with those. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah. And there's also the whole talks about reworking the whole northern faction, so things could change from there. And then we have this buff to Ares, a further reduction in his cost from 26 to 22. And then Talent inflicts 10% vulnerability magic damage. And then A1, further reduction in deployment cost. And then Golden Tremor, which is the slow AoE thing, has an increased range, which means that the slow will be 1 tile ahead of his basic attacks, which is interesting. And then during the ultimate at A3, Unrelenting Will trigger interval is reduced by an additional 1 second. I believe this is the global attack that he does. Or was it Destiny's Decree? Not sure. And then yeah, this one is just further magic resistance ignore on his skills at A5, which is all good because A5 Ares right now actually does pretty decent damage if you have him A5. But yeah, it's just good buffs for him all around. And then Raiga fixed an issue where Raiga had unstable damage output in rare cases. Not sure what that refers to, but nice. And then we have an incorrect skill description text. So I think it's similar to Ingrid. It's not a buff, it's not a nerf. It's just an updated text to make sure that it's reflecting what is actually in the game. And then with Elysia, bug fix, where sometimes her ultimate will kill herself. Much needed after all the complaints that people have made. And that's it for the hero changes. Nothing too spectacular, in my opinion. I think the big one is honestly the Elddr change. Will he be actually starting to be useful in the Malrik trials? I think that's a big question. Other than that, I really don't see any other areas that you will use him at the moment because they made him an AoE fighter, which means that you still can't run him for single target content like guild pause, etc. Alright, now Malrik Halls, some huge reworks here. Level 1 to 2 trial keystones can now use auto fight. So here's the thing, I've actually chatted with someone from Forerunner. He has played this auto fight. So the great news is that the auto fight applies to all level 1 and 2s. So it means that if you have a Scorch Devourer level 2 stone and then you have a Baron level 2 stone, it doesn't matter. They will all use the same auto fights. So that's good because at level 1 to 2, at least at the point of the game that I'm in right now, I can pretty much solo all level 1 and 2 trial keystones by just placing the same units in the same placements with the same ultimate timings. It literally doesn't matter. You can add bug bombs in the mix and everything. I will have Carnelian in the mix, I will have Cyrus and all that. So that's great. It means that I don't have to set up an auto for each and every single keystone. But if you're early game, that could not be very helpful. But then again, if you're early game, you probably have to manual this anyway, so auto fight isn't going to bring much value to you. But I think for the whales out there, for the end gamers, this is great. A good change, but doesn't dismiss the fact that level 1 to 2 trial keystones usually don't give that good of a reward. And then we have this weird additional feature, the destruction feature, where commanders can choose to destroy keystones in the selection interface. Not sure why this has been added because people were asking for the merge function instead. We can merge the lower level keystones for a chance to upgrade them to a higher level one. And that made more sense. And then add an energy feature where each keystone has like, I think 2 energy, if I'm not wrong. So you can basically like restart twice or so. You don't have to like force quit the game anymore. Not sure if this fixes the force quit thing though. So that's a big question mark at the moment. Hopefully it does not fix it, because the level 4 and level 5 keystones can still be incredibly hard, especially when you have like random deployments with the extra units like the sycophants, the bombs and all that. Those are quite difficult to deal with. Then optimize the chest settlement animation. I saw this. It basically goes from lowest to highest rarity chest now, instead of right now where we go for the highest rarity to lowest rarity. So it's just reversed. And then recommended hero display, not really needed for me. Then more sources for trial keystones can now be obtained from AMR, gear dungeons, that's great. And the dungeon shop. But it's a shame, because it means that if I farm the gear dungeons already, I won't get a chance to farm them this month to get those extra keystones. That's a shame. And then the dungeon shop, you also get some there now. And then replace the gold reward for enhancing any gear and weekly quest with a random keystone reward. That's great. And then change the acquisition method for some keystones to obtain keystones chests, be stored in the storage after being obtained to avoid occupying storage space. Okay, I'm not sure what this means, but it probably means that some of the keystones that we get from random stuff, they won't go into the storage space immediately. Yeah. And 90 seconds cooldown, I'm not sure what this does. It basically looks like a force quit function where your Malrik trials just ends after 90 seconds from the final wave. Alright, so that's it for the Malrik trials bit. Very nice that they have the auto here. Not sure what they're doing in the destruction. A bit disappointing to see that they are not doing any updates to the awards, except from the rewards, because there's been a lot of screenshots of people clearing the level 4 stones and they are still getting crap like psychic power, which should definitely not be the case at the difficulty level that they are at the moment. Alright, gear and artifacts, Cataclysm has been enhanced. Very straightforward, from 5 to 8 seconds. What this means is that in some areas of the game, Cataclysm is going to be the best in slot gear set now, especially with the faction ring bonuses and some heroes having exclusive gear. And then optimized runic augmentation rule for artifacts. You can now get the same type of the current runic attribute. What does this mean? In the past, when you were trying to add an extra step to the artifacts, if let's say you already had attack bonus in the moment, if you try to reroll that, it will always give you another step other than attack bonus, which is not what it should be like. Because if you're rolling for attack bonus, it doesn't matter if your current roll is attack or not, you should be able to roll attack again. It doesn't make sense that it's excluded. So great that they changed that. This was after some feedback and the in-game suggestions, so glad they took that. And then after that, last but not least, activation logic for Invigoration and Wings of Grace. They were not granted to Honora anymore, which is, or rather they will not prioritize granting it to her because she cannot take any buffs in the first place. Alright, now some Guild War changes. Prioritize Guild War team when enabled. Others will prioritize using the Guild War defense team during face-off battles. It means that they will not target your sandbox. They will actually get the Guild War team that you set up in your GVG interface instead of sandbox. That's what I'm guessing. And then this one, about time. After the sandbox face-off ends, the face-off list will no longer reset to the first player's position. Then optimize the face-off experience with guild members. After the update, you can select a guild member on the placement page, then directly initiate a guild war face-off via the friendly face-off in their player profile page. I think this means that you don't have to actually go back to the sandbox page and then face off them from there. You can actually do it from the GVG page right away. Right, then algorithm, activity weight. I think this is to do with who you get matched up with to avoid repeated matchups. Then battle recording playback rules. Battle recordings from previous version will no longer be played, blah, blah, blah. Then add an auto fight gear record system for Apoc 1 and Apoc 2. This is huge. It means that we no longer have to swap gear around for probably one of the most painstaking contents in the game right now, because It's normally like a 10-20 minute fight, depending on how fast your auto is. Roughly there, maybe 10 minutes, not 20. Having to shift gear there where you don't have to do it in anywhere else in the game anymore is kind of annoying. And then playtest about time as well. Not restricted by hero locks, that is huge. It means that even after you've made your Titanic Ruins records for the week, you can still go in to make any changes and does not save auto fight records. Okay, optimized performance aspect, not sure what that is. Okay, then this is nice. Basically, guild boss rewards can be sent even after the guild gets disbanded. So that's good. Not sure how this gets treated if you get kicked from the guild, but yeah, at least they are fixing that. Okay, this was already mentioned at the start. I no longer have to use stamina for gear dungeon. The United Front now offers new stages where commanders will work together to challenge bosses. Right, and then the Withstand the Tide now includes additional pick talents up to level 50, and then Withstand the Tide feature new waves up to wave 200. I think we are at 160 at the moment, so we get 40 more waves. But if it's just a BP thing, then I'm very sure all the endgame players will have no issues with this. And complete the new Tide Wave challenge to earn Init Soulstone times 2. That means that you will get Init A3 after this. And then 6 new Trials of Nightmare stages have been added to Faction Trial. I'm not sure if this is saying it's Nightmare only or we're getting other factions as well. Then more diamond rewards for the hero skins, more redemption limits for auto fight, and also added gear, recasting hammer, mystery demon chest. I hope these are coming from epic tokens. And then purchase limit for hero storage has been increased, so we get 200 more slots. And then a couple of new achievements here. Not sure what they will provide, but that's nice. And then yeah, now Gear Dungeon Shop will also sell the Demon Chest. And Friendly Face Off now supports auto fight, which means that you can bring your arena auto fights over to Friendly Face Off. And you can also save the fight data for the same arena mode, which is great. Which means that if you have guildmates that you can test the lineups against, then you can sort of set up your defense from there. And this one is huge as well. It basically means that every time you manually take over a fight, you can now save the deployment and fight sequence, but not have the gear and artifact data affected. Because previously, you would have to update the gear data no matter what. So with this change, that's not going to be happening anymore. And then the big change here, I've already made a suggestion in the in-game suggestion tab on the Discord server. Not sure why they are nerfing the stamina again. So some people are saying that the single purchase count here refers to how much you can purchase at one go. But my belief is that this is saying that now we can buy 30 times. Next, the change will make it such that, you can only buy 10 stamina pots. Sorry, you can only buy 10 times 200 stamina a day. Not sure why the game is going in that direction, especially with the dev interviews saying that, this Malrik trials are going to be the biggest game mode that they're going to focus on from now on. They're not going to likely introduce any more new gear slots and whatnot. And given that they are introducing more ways to get Malrik trial keystones, but farming is still the most reliable way to get that. And with this nerf, not sure what direction they're trying to take there, but it's definitely not sitting well with the spenders in the game at the moment, because farming is a huge aspect of this game where your gear, your forging, even your Malrik trials are kind of tied to farming at the moment. Alright, some adjustments to Honor's Gauntlet, not sure what that is, and then you have the option to automatically sell gear now, which is great. So it means that you are going to be able to farm overnight without having to worry about running out of gear slots. Then I'll optimize the attack range change display. I think this just reveals whether or not how much of the attack range increase you're getting. Because right now I think the awakenings don't really show that. And then yeah, this is some bug fixes, and yeah, that's basically it. So very long patch note. I think the biggest one is honestly the gear dungeon change, being able to farm Malrik keystones from there, the removal of stamina, and then also this stamina change, which is incredibly weird. Not sure what the game is trying to do. So yeah, I'll leave the Discord suggestion below. You can go in and leave an upvote if you care about that. And then other than that, yeah, the Gear Recasting Hammer and Mystery Demon chest in the Awakening shop is nice. We're also getting 2 Init Soul Stones, more trials, and then the playtest feature and the gear recording for Apoc 1 and 2. And we also have the arena thing, sandbox changes, Cataclysm buff, and then the Malrik auto fight. So a lot of quality of life improvements here, which is great, but also some steps in the wrong direction, especially with the stamina change, if what we are reading here is actually what they intend for it to be. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know what you're most excited about. How do you feel about these changes? Whether you're hoping for more. But yeah, 2 patches in a month. We don't usually get this, but this is great. Yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Thanks for tuning in. Last but not least, I do have a summoning party taking place this Saturday. If you're interested, sign up with the link below. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye.